welcome, Eriko. We're so glad that you've woken up at some crazy hour in the part of Mexico you're situated. You graduated from KAUST in 2014 with a master's, and from KAUST you went on to Oxford where you finished your PhD last year. You did your undergraduate degree at the Monterey Institute of Technology and Higher Education, and then you came from that very prestigious institution in Mexico to KAUST, where you studied bioscience with Arnab Payne. So how did you end up coming from Mexico to KAUST? And I mean, in terms of journeys, what a big journey that was.
I found out about KAUST. They like to come, the KAUST people, the KAUST staff, to offer the opportunities in my university and other ones. And I was very interested because, all the things that I was hearing they were doing, that I was impressed, to be honest. And one of the things, like, I was looking also in that time for my career, as I saw the next step in my career, was going to go abroad, to go outside Mexico. I saw it as a step that needed to be done. So I did a master's there in bioscience. For 2 years. Was very, very into research. I was one of the other things that made me to select KAUST. It was that they were doing Arnab Payne, for example. He was doing pathogen work, and for some reason, I hadn't had that opportunity here, and I just wanted to try. And I want to be honest, I didn't know anything about pathogens. Even though biotechnology is related, but like in my program, wasn't in the program. And so I arrived to KAUST, and it was my first time going outside Mexico and to leave Mexico, and it was a cultural shock. I felt kind of like at home. It sounds a little bit corny, but I think I really had a good time there. I really remember good time in KAUST.
So can you talk a little bit about the Hajj project?
It was very interesting, and I hear every time I talk about this project and how I participated worldwide, people are just interested because the Hajj is such an interesting setting for pathogens to study. And so they had more than 600 clinical samples from the Hajj for different years. This project had been started or thought through years before I arrived, and I had the opportunity that people there offered me the opportunity in the Pathogen Genomics Lab. And the thing is about Hajj is such a specific setting because you have all these people. I think sometimes they refer it to 2.5 millions of people coming from all the parts of the world. Instead of going to those places to try to identify or even discover, because that's very exciting for the virology field, to discover new viruses. Instead, you wait for them to go there and you take some samples. And that's something that it's hard to find in other settings of mass gatherings, and you find it this way. It was quite a big responsibility, I felt, and I was very proud that it became a very good publication, and it helped me later in my career. It helped me to continue my career.
The colleagues that you left behind at the Jenner Institute were already rapidly working towards vaccines that would help something like a COVID-19. I mean, were you working on these sorts of vaccine discoveries or research?
You know, coronavirus, there are some diseases that international organizations, they are looking, they are tracking, they are like having their focus on that. One of those is MERS coronavirus. There is an organization called CEPI from Europe that they have these programs, for example, for putting attention on these diseases that they know, or not they know, but they think, okay, so we have to be careful on those pathogens, you know, because something might happen. Let's say, you know, a pandemic might happen. So I think in the field, in the vaccinology, infectious diseases, MERS coronavirus and the coronavirus were always kind of like, they were putting a little bit like attention on that,
Yeah. So what did you like most about living in Oxford?
In some way it's similar to KAUST, I think, in terms of, you have this specific place which is meant for the students, for academia. Oxford is like a place, it's a city, but it kind of feels like a city made for the students, where everything that you go, you are surrounded by students, by, like laboratories and departments. And then in Oxford, for me, just quite an opportunity. Sometimes I feel like I don't quite acknowledge that, but because I get very, focused on the work, I have to do, I'm interested about results and so on, but I think one of the best things that I did, like to work with these old scientists that are very recognized, and that you are working with something that you like and something that you enjoy and something that, you're helping people. For me, it's not all the people have the chance to do that, to be honest. And for me, such these distinguished places, it's a dream sometimes come true.
Did you grow up thinking that you were going to work with viruses, or that you were going to be an engineer or a scientist? How does a person get interested in this sort of thing?
That's a very good question. I remember when I was a kid, I liked to play with, to do experiments when I was 9 years old. And within that age, you might not know how to properly do experiments. So I always liked biology, but I think since I was a kid, for some reason I had these two areas, biology, nature, but technology. How can we combine the two of them to deliver something?
There was somebody who was thinking about coming to KAUST. Could you talk a little bit as though I was a future student to KAUST?
When I was in KAUST, I found that the program, the bioscience, for example, program, was very integrated. Technology that they have there, when I went to other places, like probably they can envy those kind of technologies, the facility to use those technologies. And also I think the bioscience programs, at least, like these transcriptomics, proteomics, it's very, very kind of up-to-date thing. That then I realized of that when I moved to other places. I'm not talking specifically about Oxford, but other, like environments. But I think Oxford is, I don't know who developed those programs, but I think he did quite a good job. There's a lot of thinking about that. And it's very up to date, very state of the art. In terms of people, it's just, how culturally diverse this KAUST is just amazing. And I say this very honestly. The people that I met, and now I have people that I can talk to in different part of the world.
Can I talk a little bit about your future? And you right now speak about yourself as being a coronavirus consultant. I mean, what's next for you, Eriko? What would you truly love to do?
That's a very good question. I think I would like to continue doing work for infectious diseases and for, if you can, viruses. I think that's something that I really like. I really like to pursue this creativity thing, that I can be able to design and to invent things. I think I'm still looking. I have good, I have good options right now, and also in the medium and the long term. Also, plus the consultant, work that I'm starting doing. And I think if I want to pursue this creativity, this designing of products such as vaccines or molecular diagnostics, I think one path will be also academia, to still going through academia. I think industry, it also offers that. I think. Sorry, I haven't been so experienced in the industry, but what I know right now, because I'm also looking for that, there is a chance that there is opportunity to do that, and industries that are doing such a good work also, as well as academia.
Thank you for inviting us into your home and for talking to us.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's always a pleasure.